Hello, bestie. Today we are having an emergency episode, so it will be a bonus episode week. I'm not sure exactly when this will come out, but the second it can be edited and uploaded, it will be up.
We're back in the studio, and if you've been on social media and seen Callie's Instagram, TikTok, any of the above, then you know.
I had to break up with my boyfriend on Valentine's Day. It was just the final straw. It was really unfortunate timing. And I think we're just going to delve into it because maybe there's someone else who just went through a breakup on Valentine's Day or recently. I know I've seen in my DMs there's always at least a few besties going through a breakup, and I didn't ever want to go through another breakup in my entire life, which is why I've been so careful who I chose to date. But somehow I always find myself in toxic relationships. This one did not seem like it was going to be toxic, which is why I think it's important to talk about, because there are signs looking back now where I'm like, I should have just ended it then, but I didn't. And yeah, I mean, I
Let's
guess
get into it. Yeah.
I was gonna
start?
say most breakup vids, people are like, all love to the person, whatever, but I don't feel that way. He was so mean to me, and I feel like I've been crying all day, but I kind of just had we were sitting on the couch and I kind of just had an awakening moment, what the hell am I crying about? This was awful. He was so mean to me. And it sucks because we did have a lot of great times together. Obviously, or I wouldn't have stayed. It wasn't even that long of a relationship too, which is why I'm like, oh my god, so much happened in such a short time, because we met in the very beginning of December and we started dating January 1st, and it's February. We broke up on February 14th, so literally exactly a month and a half, and so much happened in that time. And it's just the first few years should be the honeymoon phase, where it's just everything's so good, you have little arguments, whatever, but not fight after fight after fight where everything just feels so awful. So I don't know where to start, but we met at a bar that I will never be going to again, just because in his words, if I ever try to go there again, it will never happen, because he's the star of the bar. And I mean, I guess I will give him that. He is very well liked at that bar. I don't ever want to go again because I don't ever want to run into him again. But even just to make comments oh, if we ever break up, you can never come here again, or you can never go out in Venice again.
During dating.
Yeah.
It's almost trying to make you feel like you need him.
Yeah.
And he's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It just is a lot. And so anyway, we met at a bar, and in the beginning, it was so great. The reason I chose to start dating him was because from the get-go, he was really interested in dating me, and I was really interested in dating him. It was just, it felt so easy, and he just said so many things that made me feel good. He would go on and on about how important it is to have reassurance in a relationship, and he would say things you can call me or text me when, because I told him about how I had exes in the past who one of my exes who was dealing with undiagnosed schizophrenia, he would get paranoid and block my number for weeks. So I feel I have a little bit of still trauma from that, because whenever I send a text, I immediately think they blocked me, which is not a normal response. I told him that, and he was I would never ever do that to you. You can call me and text me as much as you want, and I'll always answer unless I'm in a meeting. He was just so kind and reassuring, and it just felt I felt I was finally, and I think I even said this in an episode in December, that I was finally in a relationship that felt okay, this feels healthy. And you were there, he seemed you were there when he said these things. It seemed great. He
said everything you wanted to hear.
Yeah.
And that's why we're having, not that I'm going through this, but in talking today, we're having difficulty. It's how do you trust?
Yeah.
It's just a feeling, whether it's right or not, I guess.
No,
but the fact that he said everything right in the beginning, and then obviously it was just doing that too.
I know. But I will say, and I know you're not going to believe me, but I will say from the beginning, even while he was saying all these things and it seemed great, there was always a little something in my gut that felt off.
Not your
and
person.
I should have listened to that gut feeling a little more. But anyway, we started dating, and things were really great. when I was home, I went home to the East Coast for the holidays, and he was like, I'm gonna miss you so much, and was just like so sweet the whole time I was there, like so reassuring, so kind. And I got back, and we like, because he had work off for that, like for like 2 weeks, so we kind of just spent like the full 2 weeks together, and it was just like the most fun ever. And he was so sweet and caring, and like I was just like, oh my god, I'm so happy, because like I actually found someone who's super kind and super nice, and it was awesome. But I think like, and this was only probably like 2 weeks into when we started dating. We were out to dinner one night, and he was like, we're gonna have to talk about your Instagram one day. And I was like, what do you mean talk about my Instagram? And he was like, well, there's a few photos that like you're gonna eventually have to take down, because I wouldn't want my family to see them. And I got like obviously like upset over that, because first of all, social media is my job. Second of all, it's not like I'm posting like pornographic photos on my Instagram. Third of all, even if I was, it's my Instagram. He's not going to come into my life and like tell me what I can or cannot post.
That's what it
So,
is, I feel like, is a sign of control.
yeah, and so that was my first red flag. I got really concerned. This felt really controlling. And then on top of that, when I told him that I felt like this was like toxic, he just like freaked out, shut down, was like, let's go, let's get out of here. Like, he was like, I just want to go get my keys. And like, he later said he wanted to get his keys so we could go together to the bar. But like, he was saying that in the time because like he wanted to leave. And like, I'm such an anxious person. Like, I like to talk things out. And like, I don't like when people just shut down and are so angry. And like, I get there's ways in meeting in the middle of that. And if it was just that, like, I think that's something like we could have talked through and worked out. But I was more concerned about like the Instagram thing. And anyway, we ended up like going out, whatever. I like convinced him to like not get mad at me. Like that was the thing. Like every single time I would ever try to like stand my ground in anything, like I felt like it ended with like me apologizing, which is like always like not a good thing.
Yeah.
And so then in the morning, like I was still feeling weird, so we talked about it, and he was like, he did own up to like the way he reacted was like not okay. But he was like, yeah, like I know in the future you're never going to post like something on Instagram to upset me. And that just felt like threatening, honestly, because like it's like, oh, so now like in the back of my head, every single time I
You're
post on
supposed to.
Instagram, and of course I'm sure this would eventually have like gone over to TikTok and YouTube and everything too. Like I'm going to have to think about that like every single time before I post to make sure he's okay with it. So after I sat with that for a while, like I just decided to break up with him, because it was only 2 weeks in, and I was like, this is a really bad sign of like really controlling behavior, and I'm not getting my like, I'm just not going to be in another situation where someone's going to try to control me. And if 2 weeks in someone's telling me that like I need to change my Instagram, like I quite frankly don't think that it's going to work. But so I tried to call him and be like, can we talk later? And then this is when he like made the quote unquote rule that we can no longer see each other during the week. So if I want to talk to him about anything, I have to wait until Friday. And so I was like, okay, like I didn't want to break up with you over the phone, but I called him. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like I was like crying. I was like, but I just like, I really care about you, but like this just makes me feel really uncomfortable. This feels really controlling, and I don't think it's going to work. And he just like laughed at me, like called me immature. He was like a little bit older than me, so he loved to call me immature all the time. and and
It's
I'm
not funny, sorry.
yeah,
It's
no,
just,
I'm
yeah.
sure even like I've been posting on like TikTok, and like I'm sure he'll think if he sees this podcast like this is immature, but quite frankly, like one thing I'm going to do is, this is my job. I talk about things, I share things to help other people. So
And
like,
it's not even that you're here to bash an ex.
yeah,
You're here
no.
to help other people, because
Yeah.
every girl, like
No.
so many people, have gone through these things.
Yeah, I'm never here to
And
bash anyone. It's just I think these are like important signs, and hopefully like maybe if you're in a situation like this, it can help you.
yeah.
But anyway, like I ended things with him. He kind of just like laughed about it on the phone. But then, and I think this is the thing that like I've been like crying about earlier, and like right now, like I'm actually feeling pretty okay. But like I think what hurt is like this first breakup. Then he did call me after, and he was like, no, like we need to talk this out. Like there's like before breaking up, like we should try and see if we can talk this out. And like he gave me space, but was like calling me and like checking in. And then we like did end up talking it out. And he was like, I'm sorry, like I never meant to come off controlling. And like we kind of like he agreed like he was wrong about the Instagram thing, and like we like completely glossed things over. And I think that's what hurts so much about this like breakup, because I know what it was like the first time we broke up. He actually cared. This time like he definitely didn't. But anyway, like now in retrospect, I probably should have just ended things there, but like I think everything happens for a reason. I don't know exactly what this reason is, but we got back together and like things were good. But then it was still like my biggest fear with that whole thing is not like whether like it's not about the Instagram post, it's about the control. So then I was kind of like worried that later there might be like other controlling things that happened. And only a few days later, I remember I was going to Pilates and I was wearing like a normal workout top, but like I have boobs. So like obviously like it's gonna look like you're gonna see my boobs through the Pilates top. And he like kind of looked me up and down like with this like disgusted look, to the point where I was like, what's wrong? And he was like, nothing. And then I was like, okay. And he was like, you're just going to Pilates, right? You're not going anywhere after. And that just like made me feel like so sick to my stomach, like the whole Pilates class, because I was like, okay, like we just had this talk, like you're not trying to be controlling. And like I told my therapist that, and she did give him the benefit of the doubt that like at least he tried to like control it and like, you know, like not lash out, I guess. Like he didn't actually say anything, so I guess that was good, but it still is like,
This is also within 1 month of dating.
yeah, literally 1 month. Like who knows?
And when you're still like semi trying to impress the person. So we just have to think about how this could escalate.
And
for anyone else like in this sort of situation, and noticing like little things that might not be like end of world, but it's just like keep track, which you did.
Yeah. And then like I don't know what happened, but like slowly but surely I started to feel like more insecure in the relationship like over time. And like that doesn't just like happen. Like I hate when like guys just say like, oh, you're being insecure, you're being dramatic. Like that doesn't just like happen. Like something's going on to make you feel that way. And I think it's because like after this like whole, when we got back together, he didn't flat out say it was like a rule, but like we weren't allowed to hang out during the weekdays because he had work. And like I totally respect and understand he had a busy work schedule, but there's also some nights where he gets home at like, I'm not gonna say what, I don't need to say exactly what time he gets home, not that it really matters, but like he works like a job like where yes, sometimes he has things to do. I'm not discrediting, he is very busy in his job, like I'm not going to discredit that, but
maybe it just didn't feel like he was prioritizing a new relationship.
Yes, it just didn't seem like he was never like sending like sweet messages over text or anything. And like it was just like we couldn't hang out during the week, even if it was just like to sleep together at night, like after like the day's done, just like sleep together. I think that's like a very normal thing in a relationship. Or like every now and then, like maybe like once a week, like find one night where we're not super busy.
You don't even have to say it like that. Yeah. It's very normal to want to be with your partner at the end of the day, to discuss the hardships of the day.
Yeah. And
it's also normal to have a night alone, fine, but not
like no, and
make it a rule.
And I like totally respect that he's so busy, but the fact that like we just couldn't hang out ever during the week, or like even just like cook dinner.
It's on his terms.
Yeah. Cook dinner together and then like go our separate ways. Like we don't have to like. But it was just like I could never see him during the week. So that started to make me feel just weird, because we only ever hung out on the weekends. And granted, like we would spend the whole weekend together, but it was like at that point, like it doesn't feel like, I don't know. It just started to feel a little
more there for fun and not the like realness of a relationship. And
then on top of that, after like time had gone on, like because I used to just like call him like to say good night, and like at first I didn't think it was an issue, but then he would just like decline my calls, and like I was like, what's going on? And he basically told me like he doesn't talk on the phone, he doesn't like to talk on the phone, and he won't talk on the phone, and like I can only really call him if it's an emergency, and basically like enforce this no phone call rule, which
if you know Callie, talking on the phone is her thing.
Yeah, I love
It's
it.
very normal for any relationship to be able to feel comfortable to pick up the phone and call your partner and say,
Yeah.
hey, how's your day?
Yeah.
Or really like ask about anything. It's
And
normal
like,
in general, but Callie loves to just like, that's how you stay connected with everyone.
yeah. And I'm not asking like for him to talk to me on the phone for hours or anything. Like I would literally
But
just
so what? Like he should
yeah.
want to.
No, I know. I would
Something
literally
dumb.
just want to call and like I don't know, like say goodnight for example, but like that was like too much. So now it's gotten to the point where okay, and I mean he was very good about like texting me and checking in every day. Like I will say that like he'd always text me good morning first thing and like check in how my day is going, like good night, whatever. But like
I will bite my tongue.
no, say what you want to say.
I was gonna say, wow, gold
Yeah.
star.
No, I know. But like now like I'm not allowed to see him during the week ever. And I also can't call him ever. And then he would say things like he's never been in a relationship before where it's required phone calls. This is very bizarre of me. Like he made me feel so weird for wanting to talk on the phone when I'm just like this doesn't feel like a boyfriend because yeah, like we're pen pals during the week like texting, but like I can't like if I'm upset, I can't call you and I can only see you on the weekend, like no matter what, and I can only talk to you on the weekend. Like it just started to feel, I started to feel like just more and more like unsettled. And on top of that, like, so now like I'm getting to a point where like I am feeling like insecure and uncomfortable in the relationship with also just like I feel like there must have been like some subtleties too. But where I remember one night I told him like, I'm a little anxious and like I am sorry, but like sometimes I just need like a tiny bit more reassurance because like he would never even say like miss you during the week or anything, and his excuse for saying he wouldn't say miss you to me is because he didn't miss me. So there's no reason to say I miss you. But like I was just like it'd be nice to have like a tiny bit more reassurance like every now and then like and I'm not a combative or like confrontational person, like I'm never trying to start a fight, but every single time I would try to say these things, he would say like, "Oh my god, you're trying to start another fight. Like I just want to have fun tonight." And that was like his whole thing was like his weekends are supposed to be fun, his weeks are for stress. I get that, but like it was like I couldn't show any emotion other than positive on the weekend or it's ruining the vibe of his weekend. And basically, he told me that I can't ask for reassurance because it's one, making him feel like he's not doing enough, and two, it's controlling him and trying to change the way he is as a person. And I'm like, but he made
Maybe
me,
it's not a match.
yeah, he made me feel like I was asking too much just for my boyfriend to like every now and then say, like, oh, like, I'm like grateful for you, or like,
Also,
oh,
you
I'm
should never
missing
have
you,
to
or
ask
like,
that in a relationship.
yeah,
Clearly, he wasn't
like
giving you what
he
you
never
needed. Yeah,
said any of those things to me.
exact.
Like maybe
Yeah.
sometimes in person, but like
And then
he
to input all these rules and then expect you to not have any like discomfort or insecurity feelings.
yeah.
And then it's like, oh, well, the weekends are all for fun, yet I've just kind of been rude to you the entire week.
Yeah.
But then you're reprimanded if, you're not all hunky
Yeah.
dory. There's no winning, essentially.
So and then I started to like feel like myself depleting. Like
Yeah.
literally like
No,
I
I
was
know.
feeling like a shell of myself, and I even said to him one night that I'm feeling depressed, and that's when he did this whole spiel that this is not his problem. This is if I am like feeling anxious or I'm feeling like I need reassurance or I'm feeling upset about something, that is not something that I should talk about with him because that's not I shouldn't put that on him. I should talk about that with my therapist. And it became like every single time I had any little like inconvenience or anything, he's like, talk about that with your therapist, not me. And then he like did this whole spiel like I'm so different now that Celia's not here and I've changed like so much from the person I was when he met me. And it's like, no, you just actually became like meaner and meaner and meaner. And like I like got to the point where I felt like I could not like ever be upset around him, but like them like felt myself like crying all the time, and like it was like I was annoying him, but like it was like it's really hard to just like act like this perfect happy positive person when like you don't feel secure in your relationship at all because you can't call them, you can't talk to them, you can't show any other emotion except for like positive. And like it just got to be like so much, and like just like I felt like And it's not to say like that's the hard thing, like we did have like a lot of fun times together, but it was really like only on the weekend. And even like he stopped like being like loving with me, even like when we were hanging out, like he didn't want to cuddle with me, or like I don't know, like when we would hang out, he wouldn't want me to talk to him. I remember like I was like trying to show him a TikTok and he was like, please stop showing me TikToks. I'm watching my own TikTok. I'm never going to get through this TikTok. If you want to show me a TikTok, just send it to me. And I remember like one morning, like I was like, it'd be nice to like chat in the morning, like wake up, chat for a second. I don't know, like usually,
It's giving you deserve so much
yeah,
more. Whether he's a good person or not,
yeah, no.
you deserve, you personally
Maybe
just
he's like, I
deserve
mean, everyone
better.
that I know thinks he's like this like amazing nice person. And I think that's what's so confusing, is I do see how nice he is to everyone else. He's just not nice to me. So like maybe he is a nice person, he's just not a nice boyfriend. Like I don't know, but all I know is he was like, he got to the point where he, and like I'm not gonna like delve into every single like nitty gritty detail, because like I just like, not that I don't think that's fair to him, because he's just not nice, but I just don't think it's like necessary. But he was just mean and would like make comments about how like I don't have any friends, for example, just like kind of like weird, like belittling things. I don't know. It just like, I was feeling like so uncomfortable. And if I ever tried to just like say anything that I was like feeling like insecure, upset about, and like just like trying to find a solution to make it work, because all I was trying to do was make it work. And I would say it in such like a peaceful, like I understand, like this, like, and I would like literally like be like not even standing up for myself, really just like trying to find a way to make it work. He would just say like, I'm trying to start an argument and he doesn't have time for this right now. And then I don't know, I'm not gonna remember like or hash out like every single thing that happened, but it was like it got to the point where every single weekend, every single week I was crying. I think like most of the relationship I just cried because he
Yeah.
made me feel so awful. And I remember like this was last weekend, we got back from a Super Bowl party and it felt so good because like he hadn't been showing that much like affection or like care for me at all. But then when we got to the party, he was like actually being like so attentive and like kind and nice to me. And he'll do that when we're out in public, like he'll be like caring, nice, attentive, and kind. But then like the second we got back in my car and like drove home, just went like completely silent. And that was like another one of his things, is that he just doesn't like to talk. And so like if he's not in the mood to talk, then we can't talk. And I like tried to tell him like, it feels like you're making all these rules, and he'd be like, I'm making rules, you're making the rules, which is just like very, I don't know what rules I'm making. And obviously like I'm not saying I was perfect in this relationship. I'm sure I did things that were like maybe annoying or whatever, but like I don't know, like he would literally just tell me like, I mean, I could just tell he found me like so annoying. And like,
Which again, like, why was he in a relationship if he was just going to belittle you?
I don't know. And that's the thing, is I felt like, I don't know, like he just,
Like, he thought the world of you. Like, I had seen him think the world of you. I'm not saying he
yeah,
didn't, but
no,
he
he
also
used
did
to.
so many things that were just like intentionally cruel, even if they were little jabs.
Yeah.
It was just seems like the more you tell me, I feel like the more constant.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
know.
so many just like weird things happened. And when we got back from like the Super Bowl party, like I thought he was going to stay here for the night and he wanted to like go back to his place, sleep alone. That's totally fine, like I get it, but like his tone and his demeanor and the way he didn't speak to me for a 40-minute drive back in the car, like just like, and I already was feeling just like so, like he had been so mean for like so long now. I just started crying. And like he comforted me for like a second, but then he left. And then like I called him in the driveway because I was just like, I'm feeling really sad right now, like it'd be nice like for him to come in for a second. And I like called him and I was like, can you please just like come in and talk for like 2 more seconds? I'm just feeling like really sad right now. And he was like, no, I'm going home. And he like went home and just like left me here crying, which I just think like as a boyfriend, that's like kind of an insane thing to do. I don't know, like
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong. but like that just felt like really awful. And then like I don't know, the whole week after that just like felt weird, because like once again, like he'll call me he actually did call me on Monday this week twice, which I was shocked by, and I felt so good. I was like, wow, maybe things are like changing. But then like when we were recording the Valentine's Day episode, the whole time before we recorded that, Celia and I were like talking. I was like telling her like I really have a bad feeling about Valentine's Day. Like I don't think he's gonna do anything, and like I wanted to like go all out for him for Valentine's Day, but like I felt like it would be embarrassing if like he literally did nothing. And you were like, oh no, like I'm sure I'll get like flowers or something. But
Just because, like, he was saying that you were hanging out on Valentine's Day.
yeah,
So in my head, I'm like, what person makes plans to hang out on... I'm not trying to make you feel
yeah,
bad. It's just bizarre behavior to make plans to hang out on Valentine's Day and
yeah.
literally do nothing
And so
when you're in a dating situation.
yeah. And so I asked him, like, what do you want to do on Valentine's Day? And during that episode, he texted me something along the lines of, I don't know, we can cook, which means I can cook. We can cook and then go to a bar or something. Like, it was just, like, so, like even like he could have said it in a different way, like, oh, let's like cook a nice meal, like have like a little romantic dinner, and then like maybe the two of us can get like a drink after. But it wasn't like that. It was like he clearly just like put no thought, it did not care about did not care about Valentine's Day at all, which just like made me feel like sad. And like I told you in the last episode, like yes, like those holidays do make me feel uncomfortable. Like I feel like I'm like people pity me and stuff. Like it's not like I want like an extravagant thing, but I also want to be like acknowledged on Valentine's Day at least. Like and so then I'm feeling weirder and weirder. I called him that night, which whoops, like shouldn't have called him because not
Sorry,
supposed to call him
laugh, but yeah.
on the week. And like he was so annoyed when I called him, because like whenever I would call him, he'd say like, what's up? And I'd be like, hey, like how are you? And he'd be like, oh, I thought like there was a reason you were calling me. And I was just like, no, I'm just saying hi. And so I called him and I was like, yeah, like so for Valentine's Day, like I just like really don't want to go. I said like this one dive bar that we go to, because it used to be so fun to go there with him in the beginning, but then it got to the point where he would like we would play pool together and like hang out together, but then it got to the point where he would just like play pool with like other people all night, not really like he would say hi to me maybe every like 30 minutes and like that was it. And then like it just, I don't know, it didn't feel like good. So I called him and I was like, I just like don't want to go to like that one bar. And he was like, why? And then I was like, because it's Valentine's Day, like I just want to have it be the two of us. And then
I didn't know he said why.
yeah, he did. And then I was like, is that like okay, like don't you agree? And he was like, I said that makes sense, because he said that makes sense or whatever, but he didn't say like I agree or anything.
Yeah.
So I said, do you agree? And he was like, I said that makes sense. And then basically like we hung up the call because like I was always interrupting like his TikTok scrolling and whatever. And so
real life girlfriend.
yeah.
TikTok
So then on this past Thursday, this is when like it just got to the point where like, and I'm sure I probably have skipped over so many like key things, but I'm just trying to give like the spark notes.
Yeah.
But on Thursday, like I went out, I was like feeling really sad about him just because it was just feeling like I knew nothing was going to happen for Valentine's Day. I was feeling like I like was starting to realize, okay, this is like becoming a really toxic relationship. I need to get out of this probably, because like there were just so many, can't call him, can't see him during the week. Like if I tried to bring up any like issue there is, like I'm starting a fight or he loved to say I'm dramatic, immature, and what was the last one?
Insecure.
Dramatic, immature, and insecure. All the time. Yeah.
She always says those.
And oh, that reminds me as well, like just examples, like I could never be, it wasn't even if I was upset about something in the relationship, like I could never be upset in general. So like when I like got back from Tahoe, Ducky had diarrhea on the plane on the way there, on my favorite baby blanket with here right now. And then when I got home after that like terrible flight, then I like start my washing machine, floods my entire house, like 2 inches of water everywhere. I had to like Instacart like 5 extra towels from Target. It was a disaster. So he gets here like right when I'm finishing that, like going on. I'm obviously like very stressed. I'm not like being mean to him. I'm just like in a stress state. I don't know who wouldn't be. And then he was like went on this whole spiel of how like messed up and unfair it is of me to be stressed around him because he's been stressed all week. It's the weekend now and I shouldn't be like putting my stress on him. Like I could never, every single time I ever had an issue, he would say, talk to your therapist about it. Don't talk to me about it. Which is just like, what's the point of like, and it's not like I'm like telling him these deep like, I like I don't know. I feel like there's a chemical imbalance in my brain. I have like such bad anxiety like all day.
You're
like
only allowed to be positive, or he didn't want to hear it. That's pretty much what it was. And by the way, you didn't delve into Tahoe. I don't know if you want to.
Oh, so yeah.
I don't know if you.
When I was in Tahoe, he was watching my cats, which was like very, very sweet. And I was very, very grateful for that. But like, and I took him to like dinner when I got back, like a very nice dinner at Jelena. I took him to breakfast after in the morning, like a nice breakfast. And when he was here, I also like Instacarted him like a ton of like all his like favorite things, like a bunch of stuff to make dinner, snacks, like ice cream, his favorite drinks, like just like kind of like an array of stuff. And I was on the phone with him when I was like preparing this like Instacart order for him. And he was like, can you order me some rosemary and butter too? Because I want to make a steak. And if you don't know, I have been a vegetarian my entire life. I have never had meat. So I was like, yeah, but could you please just make it on Celia's pan, not mine? Because I've never had meat in my, like he knows I've never had meat in my life, obviously. I think that's a totally okay boundary to set because my pans can't go in the dishwasher and I don't eat meat. So I just like would not, even in college when we lived in college, like our college roommate like had a specific meat pan. Like I just wouldn't, who was a boy, like I've never, like maybe someone who doesn't, I don't know, maybe someone who,
but you don't have to explain yourself. That you had that request and that was,
and I said he could use one of your pans and he like hung up on me basically. And then the Instacart order got here and like he didn't even say thank you. He just said got it like 5 minutes.
And she had added like so many surprise
and I had
things.
I had to ask him
that were like favorites of his.
I had to ask him that he got it. He didn't just like tell me he got it. And
like doing a sweet thing, like
like I was trying to make it
a lovey thing, not even like in a like any sort of way other than you care for him, and you had done something nice, and then he just doesn't even acknowledge, like,
and then
so
like
bizarre.
I said cool after he said got it, so I think he could tell I was annoyed, and then he was like thanks for the stuff. And then whatever, he made dinner, then he was texting me normally, then out of the blue he texts me, I wonder if you would do the same for me, if you would watch my pets if I was away like I'm watching yours. And like first of all, like I like didn't ask this man to watch them. Like I could have, they have a cat sitter, but like it was very sweet of him to offer. Like I do appreciate that. And I was like, I don't know why we're talking about your hypothetical pets, but yes, like of course I would watch.
You were like the most pet loving and caring.
And that just made me feel like what? Because like anyone who knows me knows I'm like a very caring, giving person. Not to talk myself up, but I love doing things for other people.
No, it's
and like
very bizarre comment.
I like, and even like with him, like I love doing things for him. Like I don't even know like what that meant. So I said like, why would you say that? And he was like, well, you said you couldn't cook. You said I couldn't cook steak in your pan, so who knows what the next problem will be? Only time will tell. And then I was like, what? And it was crazy. I mean, I told ChatGPT about that conversation, and ChatGPT was like telling me I should break up with him over that. Because like it's just like I'm setting a normal boundary, giving him another option too to use Celia's pan, and he's just like not respecting it and making me feel bad and weird about it. I just found that like super, like that made me feel like really like unsettled and sick to my stomach. And that was the other thing, is after he watched my cats, I feel weird calling them my cats, Cleo and Luna, the girls, the messy woman, like whenever I would try to like say talk about like our relationship, because literally all I was asking was for him to just act like he cared about me a little bit more, like because he just didn't act like he gave a fuck about me anymore, quite frankly. So I would just ask for that, and he would always be like, well, I watched your cats while you were away. Like that was always like,
Which, like, when you're feeling sad, just listen to the sentence you just said.
yeah, no, I know.
Like, you deserve someone where you would never have to question for them to care about you a little bit more.
Yeah.
I know you know this. I just wanted to repeat that sentence because that was pretty powerful.
I am feeling like a lot better now. I mean, I sat in bed and cried all day today.
Obviously, it's going to be
I'm sure
waves.
I'll cry again. Because it's just, I think, I mean,
when you think of the things that someone's done that are bad, like when you're telling this in like a advice sense to like, you know, other girls, obviously you would never want that for any bestie. Yeah. But when you actually think of the person in the good times, like obviously you're the only one that knows that, and obviously it's gonna hurt. Yeah. So. Yeah.
No, I know. Yeah.
But, like, you would never want, like, if someone came up to you and was like, I love you and this is happening to me, you would tell them, like, you know, the advice you're giving. So.
I know. No, I think and like in a relationship, you should feel like secure, and like I was completely walking on eggshells because I'm like, I can't have any emotion really except for positive, because it will ruin his vibe, because we only hang out on the weekends and the weekends are supposed to be positive, and it will ruin his vibe. And like then that's making me like feel like I'm gonna like boil over if anything happens that like I feel upset or insecure about. Even if it doesn't have to do with him, it's still gonna bother him that I'm upset. And okay, we can't talk in the morning because it bothers him to talk in the morning. We can't talk in the afternoon because he's scrolling on TikTok and I can't interrupt his like TikTok scrolling. Like it's just like, and like obviously it sucks because like we did have like, I think that's what hurts is like we did, first of all it sucks because he was so nice in the beginning, but really I mean you don't date someone if they're mean. Like he actually took his mask off like very quickly, like and like faster than usual, but like we would go bowling together and like go to dinner together, have fun together, but there were also like never like, it's never like there was an intentional date. I'm not saying like we didn't go out to eat all the time and like had fun, but like he never like took me on like like I'm gonna pick you up now and like we're gonna go like on this date tonight. Like there were never. You
deserve more.
Like
regardless of who he is as a person, I'm not even talking about him. Just you deserve more as a human being and who you are in a relationship.
And he always just made me feel like I was asking for too much, when like all I was asking is like if I could.
You literally deserve the world, and you gave him the biggest heart.
Yeah, like all I wanted to do was just like be able to call him before I went to bed and say goodnight. Like I don't think that is like an insane request. So like I just like I don't feel like I was like asking for that much, but he was making me feel like I was like asking for like the whole world, and like it's impossible to communicate with him because every time I'm communicating it's a fight, whatever. So then this past Thursday I like was feeling weird, feeling like I had to break up with him, upset, but then I was like trying to text him and be like your stress is my stress, like I want to make this work, and like just saying like that like I'm like always here for him, like whatever. And he just sent this like super pissed off, like it was a really sweet text was the point, and he just sent this super pissed off text back like, yeah, of course we're in this together, I don't know why you're always asking for reassurance and like bothering me with this. And then whatever, I was like sad, but I was just trying to have a good night, so I went to La Cabana, and then I went bowling with my friend, and I had like a good night bowling. Like I got 3 strikes in a row, and like me and him would always go bowling together, so I was like,
that is pretty epic.
Yeah, it was. Well, okay, they weren't in a row, I take that back.
Okay, I was gonna say wow.
Sorry. I got 3 strikes in the evening. And so like when I got home, like I just wanted to like call him and like tell him about like how fun bowling was and just say goodnight. And he like answered the phone like yelling at me. He was like, I told you not to call me, I don't like phone calls, you're not respecting my boundary, like I don't want to talk on the phone. And then this was like just like a super low blow that I don't think he can come back from. Like I told you how like I told him in the beginning, my ex-boyfriend like used to block my number all the time, like not because I was calling him a bunch or anything, but because he was literally, he was dealing with undiagnosed schizophrenia, so he'd get paranoid and he'd block my number for weeks at a time. And when we're on this phone call on Thursday, he says, like, I understand now fully why your ex-boyfriend used to block your number all the time, because you're so annoying and you don't stop calling. And, like, he's acting like I'm, like, robo-calling him. Like,
she called him one time to say goodnight.
And he said, well, I had called him, like, earlier in the evening just because he...
You didn't even mention earlier in the evening. I don't know if you want to.
What happened earlier? Oh, earlier
in the... You texted him if he wanted to go.
Yeah, I asked him if he wanted to go to his favorite restaurant on...
Trying to be nice.
On me. Or, like,
this is
just,
the night
like...
before Valentine's,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Or just, like, chill and hang out. And he just responded, no, I don't want to hang out. And then, like, he, like, said, like, other things, too. But, like, nothing...
Oh, right, because he had a low-carb meal prepared?
Yes. He didn't want to go to John and Vinny's.
That? I don't know.
No, yeah, he didn't want to go to John and Vinny's because he's like
working on
whatever.
Fitness,
and then
why are we even including
But then
this
he
part?
well because it was so cruel to say like just like no, I don't want to hang out. Like there's like another way to say that, like I'd like love to see you tonight, but I'm like busy, like whatever. Just like no, I don't want to hang out with you is just like really whatever. So
like, then why are you dating me?
Yeah, literally.
And again, like it's okay for a boyfriend to say they can't hang out because they're stressed that night or something. That's not what we're saying.
It's the
way in which he said things that were just like, whoa.
So mean. Like he was just so mean to me. And so then on the phone.
And didn't he say like, we'll hang and chill tomorrow or something?
Yeah. Yeah. And so like, anyway, but I guess, we had called like briefly because he was working on like he was asking me advice on how to write something for like some project he had. So I was like giving him advice. So I called him like to get like more info so I could try to help and like also just like see how his day was. And like I don't think there's anything like now I feel like they did something wrong, but I didn't. I literally just called him to say, hey, ask how his day was and help him. And then I wanted to call him and say goodnight. So now we're at the goodnight phone call. He's like, and you already called me once.
Because you were in a good mood, like you wanted to say.
He was like, you already called me once today. Like he would keep track of like when I called him. He was like, this is too much. You give me like no space and like you don't respect my boundaries. And like I understand why your ex would block you all the time. And like he's never been in a relationship where he's expected to talk on the phone before. And I'm just an immature high schooler. And he makes me like, now my night went from like so fun to like sobbing. And I was like, saying sorry for calling him, which is like crazy because I was just trying to like call quick, like positive, like, oh, like I had fun at bowling tonight and now like good night, I hope you sleep well. And like he freaked out. And then so at this point like I'm feeling panicked, like I need to fix things now because I did something so wrong. So I'm like, can I please like just like come over and we'll like talk things out right now? And he was like, no, and if you ask me that one more time I'm going to hang up. And then, like, the conversation went on for a little longer of him, like, yelling at me. And then I was like, can I please just, like, I really think we should just talk this out. Like, I don't want to go to bed sad. I think, like, we can just, like, hug this out and it, like, be fine. I wasn't trying to, like, whatever. And then he hung up on me, like, knowing I was sobbing to the point where, like, I was so upset. Like, my friends came over at midnight because, like, I couldn't fall asleep. They, like, stayed here till I fell asleep on my couch because I was just, like, so sad. And then yesterday was Friday, Valentine's Day. And because
which also like you are not this person.
No.
You are not this person that begs to make situations better.
Yeah.
Like you have been there and you're so beyond it.
Yeah, I know.
And he just warped you back into this awful cycle where you feel like you're not enough. When you are more than enough.
And on that phone call too, he was like, we're gonna have to talk about this. Like, we'll still celebrate Valentine's Day, but like later in the week we're gonna have to talk about this, like my like terrible behavior of like calling him and like whatever.
And when he said we'll still celebrate Valentine's Day, that's, I'm not trying to rub salt in the wound, but that's when I was like, okay, he's planned something and he's like doesn't want to like waste money or energy or whatever that he's already spent.
Yeah, exactly. And so like he asked me if I want to hang out at mine or his. And, like, my brother and my mom were both like, you shouldn't even see him. My brother really was like, you should just, like, say, like, send him a text and be like, hey, this isn't going to work out. This will only take you 30 seconds to read, so hopefully it doesn't take up too much of your time. And then just, like, end it. Yeah.
No, in retrospect, nothing good was going to come from this night.
No, I shouldn't have seen him because after that phone call, like, it had just gotten to be too much. I mean, I literally couldn't show any emotion.
There was no coming back.
Except positive. I couldn't call him. I couldn't see him during the week. Like, he was so mean to me. Like, what is the point? Like, I knew we had to end things. So, like, all of Friday, like, I was super sad because I knew we were going to end things. But for some reason, like, I think I had like a sliver of hope that he would like come over and like maybe apologize and there was some way we could work this out. But anyway, he like texted and asked like if we wanted to hang out at his or mine, and I was like, well, Ducky's still recovering from surgery, so if you don't mind, like, could we hang out here? Because Ducky, he didn't have like a major surgery, he got teeth pulled, but he's had like a really upset stomach, so like obviously I don't want to leave him here for like 5-6 hours. I just don't think that was a good idea. And so I like, and then he responded and he was like, he hates Ducky, by the way. He loves Cleo and Luna, but he hates Ducky and he's mean to Ducky. He'll like just call Ducky annoying. Ducky will like run up to him excited to see him and he'll just say ew, and like
I always say, see how a man treats his pets and his parents.
I mean, he treated Cleo and Luna great, but he did not treat Ducky nice. And I like, Ducky's my dog. I can call him annoying because he's my dog, but I love him and he's like a sweet boy. Like, he's not like whatever. And like that was the other weird thing when he met Ducky. He like, that was one thing that like really made me like him, is he like earned, because Ducky doesn't like men, so he took so long to earn Ducky's trust the first night, and I was like, that was so sweet. Like, all of this was some crazy facade he put on that just like was not the real him. But anyway, he texted me and he was like, I can go to yours, no prob, but I just want a quiet night, and your dog is not quiet. He is the opposite of quiet. He's so annoying. And like, or
Happy Valentine's Day, by the way.
Oh yeah, and he never texted me once Happy Valentine's Day during the day. By the way, he said he's annoying, not so annoying. Just thought I should clarify. But
okay,
doesn't really matter.
The premise was he said annoying.
Yeah. Speaking of Ducky, if you're watching on YouTube, he is being a little annoying right now.
He decided that he needed to clear his name.
Yeah.
On the pod.
But where was I? Oh, and then he was like, well, what do you want to eat tonight? And I was like, I don't care. He did like offer to go buy stuff, I think, to make for dinner, which was like nice, but that's like bare minimum. And like, he didn't end up well, I told him he didn't need to, but I was like, I don't care, like, what do you want to eat, like, what are you in the mood for? And he was like, something low carb, which is just like, it's Valentine's Day. Like, I don't know. Can we like, I don't know. And he also like, yeah, when he was here at staying at my house, he was like just making comments, shocked at like how many carbs he eats when he was here, which almost felt like a jab at how many carbs. I don't know. Anyway, so then he asks like if he should pick up any beer or wine on the way, and I was like, yeah, if you want to, that would be nice. And I'm like really hoping he's gonna like at least show up with flowers or something, but he shows up completely,
or a bottle of wine even.
Yeah. Because he said he was going to get it.
Yeah.
He shows up completely empty-handed. He's like, forgot to get the wine and beer. No flowers, no card, like literally nothing on Valentine's Day. And like at this point too, like I know I'm going to break up with him, but I'm like feeling like really like, oh, I don't think I can do it. I feel really sad. So I ended up ordering beer, his like favorite beer for him, which is now like stocked in my fridge, which is bumming me out, but I like the beer now too, so like whatever. It doesn't need to be associated with him. But we like have a beer, and like I'm just like obviously like upset. I'm trying not to cry because I didn't want to cry when I ended things, but I'm just like being like whatever. And he's like just like getting upset that I'm upset. He's like confused I'm even upset, which I'm like, I don't know how you could be confused. Like, you hung up on me last night. Like, we're clearly like about to break up. I mean, you said yourself we need to talk on Wednesday.
Why Wednesday, by the way?
I keep saying that. I don't know if it was Wednesday. I keep saying Wednesday. I might have made that up in my head. He just said later in the week.
Got it. Okay.
But anyway, we like, I just like was feeling sad. I started crying. He like comforted me, like said that this is why he shouldn't have come over, because it was hard, because he was like very comforting and kind last night, and was like comforting me while I was crying, like to an extent. And then he was just like, sometime like I was telling him like, I just think like we're very different, like obviously like this is not working, like because I like need a boyfriend who like I can actually hang out with sometimes during the week and call. And he like thought that was so insane and told me he had an ex who like went on like this super long vacation and only called him once. Like, it's not normal to call. It's immature high school behavior.
There's no normal. It's just preferences, and clearly you're not a match.
Yeah.
But and to make you feel bad for your needs,
yeah,
you would
and
never
like
do
it's
that
just
to him.
like, and I was just saying like, can we meet somewhere in the middle on this?
Yeah,
like literally somewhere. There was no like middle meeting ever. It was just what he
Which
wanted.
Which is not a partnership whatsoever.
But he definitely was good at gaslighting, because he made me feel like he'd always say like, you're making all the rules, which like I don't know what the hell rule I ever made. And so then like we're having this conversation, like we're clearly gonna like break up. And so like I'm really sad, but he's just like so like calm, like cracking jokes, which is like making me cry more. And yeah, basically I just said like, I think we need to end things, like this isn't gonna work out. And he was like, well, don't you want to hear what I have to say like later when I have like all my thoughts processed? Because he didn't really say anything. And I was like, honestly, like no, because like whatever he's gonna say, like I just was like, I need to start healing now. Like, I don't want to wait, like, no matter what, like, I don't think this is gonna work. And, like, I needed to, like, hold my ground. Oh, and also, he was saying, because, like, when he first got there, he was saying the vibe was so off. Once again, I was ruining his weekend. He just wants to have a fun weekend. If I'm gonna be sad, he's gonna leave. And I was like, it's Valentine's Day. And he was like, it's a commercial holiday. If
you did not tell me that.
Yeah, he said it's a
commercial holiday. So he's aware of Valentine's Day, yet he decides not to do it.
Yeah, he said it's a commercial holiday, and if it's a good relationship, Valentine's Day should be every day. And I was like, okay, well,
okay, then buy me flowers.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm joking, but like,
no,
come on.
Yeah. And so then he was like,
this
saying,
isn't even like towards him. This is just towards men in general.
So he was saying like he was gonna leave, and I was like, then I just like felt like desperate, like in the moment I wanted things to like kind of work. So I was like, you can leave right now, but then like I'm not gonna meet with you and like talk about things like later in the week. Like, if you leave right now, like this is over. And he was like, I have to agree, like I don't think it's gonna work out. And so then like, and like it just sucks, because like part of me, and I know like obviously I know logically this is not what I should have done, and I'm glad I didn't do it, but part of me just like wanted, like wished like I had just gone, like he said, like let's go to La Cabana. Like part of me wishes that we just went to La Cabana and like had a good night, and like maybe could have like somehow figured out how to work things out. But like there's no way we could have worked things out. He was mean, controlling, like it wasn't possible. Everything was about him, like. And, like, I do agree, like, you should put yourself first to an extent, but when you're in a relationship, like, there's another person.
Yeah.
And so, basically, like, he just, like, cracked some more jokes, and then, like, he didn't act sad at all, and then, he left. So, yeah, and I'm sure he went to the bar last night and probably just had a fun time. I'm sure
that is
probably at the bar right now.
Something I feel like, not all, this is obviously a massive generalization, but we were talking about earlier, oftentimes I really think men, they're like, woohoo, I'm free.
Yeah.
And they go get drunk or do whatever they do.
Yeah.
And like party it up. Meanwhile, the women are very emotional, immediately sad.
Yeah.
At least in my experience too.
No, I think
and
so
then
too.
Later on, the men are like, crap.
Yeah.
And they get immensely sad, and by that point the women have moved on.
Yeah.
Because they're like, working towards their feelings and working through their feelings every day since the moment it happens.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I mean,
so
I deleted his number today. I didn't block it. I was actually trying to, just because I don't know. I just like, I like earlier today I was just like waiting for him to text me, and like I can't be like sitting around waiting for him to text me. I did unfollow him on Instagram and TikTok, because like I just don't want to see anything from him. And Celia, I told her to unfollow him too. And then obviously look, I'm posting on TikTok about this because I think it's helpful to other people going through a breakup. Like, I'm watching vlogs of other people going through breakups right now. Like, it's really helpful to see like raw footage of people going through breakups. But I did post like the trend where it said like the devil couldn't reach me, and I did that with like, so it gave me a man who had a no phone call rule. So I don't know if he like unfollowed me because of that, or if he unfollowed me because he was just unfollowing me back, or maybe he planned to unfollow me. But like at the end of the day, like didn't even feel like he liked me, like, and it was just so toxic, and I felt like I was begging for like the bare minimum. And like as much as this hurts, like I'm feeling a little better right now, but it definitely comes in waves. Like this morning, like it sucks when you wake up in the morning and realize like they're not gonna text you and whatever. And like,
can I say,
yeah,
I am so proud of you.
Yeah.
And it's gonna suck. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. There's definitely gonna be times it's gonna suck, but this is what you always tell me in a breakup. You're gonna look back and be like, thank God.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have the biggest glow up of all time.
Yeah. No. And I know.
And I'm not like, oh, it didn't happen, just forget about it. Obviously, obviously it happened and it's gonna take a while, but you are gonna be so much better off because you deserve, and you know you deserve more, or you wouldn't have done this.
I know. No, it's like
blatantly obvious, but it still hurts.
That's the really hard part, is I know I had to do this, but like it does feel like I feel so like it's taking everything in me to not like call him right now and just be like, can we talk about this? Like,
also like, just because you get so used to talking to someone when you're in a relationship, and then it's just cold turkey, like they're no longer in your life.
Yeah, and it's just like weird. And like obviously we did have like a lot of fun together too, and I think there were really good parts about him. Like I don't know, I don't think we need to completely call him like a bad person, but he's not nice.
He's not the person for you, and the way he treated you in a relationship is not how you deserve to be treated, in my personal opinion.
So like, it just hurts my heart, because like all I wanted was for it to work, but I know for my future self, like I can't be in a situation where like I'm walking on eggshells, and like
for your whole life that would be so miserable.
Like my partner, like I can't like rely on them if like I'm stressed or sad. I can't talk to them because it's like bothersome. Like it's just like I can't be in a relationship like that, and I don't want to be in another toxic relationship. So like I cut it off and ended things, and I feel like super like sad and alone, but I know I will be fine, and I have friends to support me, and it will be okay. I just like it does suck when like all I wanted was just for it to work, and it really is taking everything in me to not just text him and say like I just wish we could work things out. Like it just now I'm feeling like a little sad again, but I know it was the right move. Like he wasn't nice, and he didn't really bring anything to the table.
I don't want to like I think when you if you listen to this back, maybe you should listen to this back every time you're feeling sad, and this just kind of scratches the surface, I feel like.
No, I know.
And everyone listening to this, as they say, would ride at dawn. I mean, really.
Yeah.
On Valentine's Day, come on.
No,
It's just a day, but come on.
Yeah, so I am single again, and it sucks, but I know it will be fine.
But something really positive, maybe the only positive out of this episode. You're moving. Have we said yet? You got the place.
Oh yeah, I got the place that I really wanted. I'm so excited.
A fresh start in a new place.
I move next weekend.
And a new chance to rebuild and become a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
You're there. You are the best version of yourself. He just can't appreciate it. Then
yeah.
No,
I know. It just it doesn't feel good, but no, I'm gonna be okay. And if you are in a toxic relationship of any sort, like it is so hard. I am like struggling so much. I'm one day in, but I'm already starting to feel like a little better than I did this morning. And I think you just have to think, and this is the mistake I've made so many times in the past. I've stayed in like toxic things for years, where I just like let myself get broken down and down and down until like I'm just like a shell, and I'm just doing whatever they tell me. And like I'm sure like if I had just like not called him during the week and like
everything
just
he
like
wanted
and only acted positive like at all times and never shared any emotion, like we would be fine right now. But like I can't do that again, and it's just not worth it. It would end up in a breakup eventually, or I would just be miserable for the rest of my life, and it's not worth it. So, like, this is gonna be painful for sure, but the temporary pain is, like, so much more worth, like,
and you know what you want,
months and months,
which I'm so proud of you. Like, you know your worth.
Yeah, no, I know.
Like, you didn't stay in this for a year.
Yeah, no, I know I don't deserve it. So I left. So if anyone else is going through this or going through a breakup, I am here for you. My DMs are open, and I got so many sweet DMs from so many besties today. So thank you, because I definitely am going through it right now, definitely oversharing online. But you know what? On the bright side, I think this is, like, finally my comeback to TikTok, because, like, I am ready to post.
You feel ready. It feels like the last time you went through a breakup was the first time you started posting.
Yeah, so
and, like,
true.
The biggest glow up of your life. Like, this is exciting.
No.
I know it doesn't feel it right now, but I'm telling you it's going to be exciting.
I know. So
but
I'm feeling
Day
positive.
by day.
I'm excited to be in, like, a new place next week, because that's just the other thing. Just, like, the stupid memories, like, suck. But it's fine. We're going to go to La Cabana right now, because I want to reclaim that, because me and him started going there, like, all the time. And, like, I want it to be just, like, it's my place. It's our place. It's not his.
Sorry, but we went there, like, all year. It's not his place. We're going to reclaim it. Yeah. We're going to have an okay night.
Yeah. And I'm very happy. Luckily, Celia, if you're not watching on YouTube, Celia's here for the weekend, which was really good timing, because I at least have you here for the weekend.
To be here for the weekend.
So, and thank you for dealing with my sadness. I'm gonna try to be more chipper for La Cabana, and I'm gonna vlog La Cabana.
I just hate seeing you sad, but obviously I understand it. So I love you. I just want you to feel better, but honestly, not in, like, a weird, like, not in, like, a any way other than, like, genuinely, I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, man.
So I love you, and life is just gonna get great. You just you deserve the world, and, like, you will get the world. Not to be, I don't want to make you sad, but you will. So all right, this is getting a little too deep for the cameras. Perhaps we should log off.
All right, we're gonna log off, but love you so much, bestie. And if you're going through anything similar, I'm here for you. And just remember, like, if you're in something toxic, like, for example, if you cannot bring up your feelings without them saying you're starting a fight, I saw a TikTok about that. Like, that is not a good sign. That is toxic. Like, you should leave before you're in it too long. It's better to, like,
the longer it goes on, the harder it is.
And, like, speaking from experience, like, I've been in a toxic relationship too long. I mean, I was probably in this one a little too long, but luckily it was only for, like, a month and a half, so it's not going to do too much damage, I don't think. And time will heal, and hopefully I don't take too long to get over this. I don't think I will.
We're going to get you right back into shape in no time. You're going to be okay.
So,
like, genuinely. It's going to suck, but you're going to be better than ever, you know.
I agree. So, all right, we love you, and we will see you on Friday.
Love you.